Hey guys, it's Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. I'm here with the dogs. Hello, Cashmere. I see you, crazy woman. Oop. Oh, poor Blondie. Poor Blondie. How you just gonna beat up on Blondie like that? That's my baby girl. How you just gonna beat up on my girl like that, Cashmere? Meanie. Poor Blondie. Did you get beat up, girl? Oh. Really, Cashmere? Hey. Alright, Cashmere, that's enough. You're causing problems. Cashmere, what did I say? Cashmere, what did I say? Do as you're told. Getting too rough. All about beating on her children, man. I guess because the little one's not out here, so she feels the need to get onto her. Get out of it. Shh. Now, get out of it. You dirty dog. Look at you. Look at you. Got beat up. Now you're all dirty. Let's get out of the wind. Around to the front of the house. So I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I saw today on the groups. The Facebook groups. Now, normally, I would say, as a caution, as a word of caution, to stay away from those groups. But sometimes they can serve for great content. And so something happened today that kind of irked me a bit that I wanted to talk to y'all about. So a guy gets on there. He's got a 5-month-old puppy that he's trying to rehome because of the fact that he says it's aggressive with children. Get back over here. And so, you know, he's doing this whole thing of not looking for advice, just looking for somebody to take the dog, right? But he's being very, very, very clear that the people can't have any kids, right? That he's aggressive. He's labeling the dog as aggressive. So I, being who I am, I know better than that. It's very rare to find a 5-month-old puppy that is so aggressive that it cannot be around children. It's just very rare. It's not that it doesn't happen, but it's very rare. And when I saw the picture of the pup, he didn't look insecure. He didn't look fearful. Like, nothing about him gave me the impression that there's anything wrong with him. To me, it looked like a dominant puppy that was pushing his weight around. So I kind of pressed it a little bit, even though he wasn't asking for advice or whatever, just to kind of see. And he mentioned that he had had pit bulls his whole life, and this and that, had been around a professional trainer since the puppy was 8 weeks old. That's another big warning sign to me. If you need a professional trainer for an 8-week-old puppy, that's a very bad sign. Anyway, hey, shh, quit it. Energy's running high today. So I was like, look, pit bulls are nothing like Cane Corso. Well-bred pit bulls should not be human aggressive at all. And it's very rare to find even bully dogs that are. Even with all of the... Cashmere, what'd I tell you? Quit your crap today. In fact, why don't you get down on the ground? Now. Quit it. Leave people alone. You understand me? Quit being a jerk. Stop it. You're way too excited. You need to chill out. Nah. No. You stay put. Cashmere. Stay put and lay down. I said all the way down. Sorry it's so windy out here, but I live on top of a hill. I better not see you do that again, you understand me? You need to settle down. Go on. Don't sass anyone again. Don't. So anyway, owning a pit bull will not train you for owning a Cane Corso. I would much rather see somebody that's owned like a French Mastiff or an American Bulldog. You know what I mean? Like something with some potential for human aggression, to be honest with you. Something that is wary of people, a protector. Pit Bull is not adequate experience for owning this breed. Unless you've owned like the big XXL bully ones that are not even Pit Bulls, they're Mastiff mixes. Come on, get back over here now, Midnight. You heard it. Hustle. Stubborn. Anyway, so he owns up to the fact that, well, I won't say owned up, because the truth is that I didn't read his full post. His original full post I read, and it didn't mention anything about it. But he had commented at one point, and he had one of those really long posts, and I didn't click the read more thing at the bottom. And so when I responded, because I just responded to him using pit bulls as experience, and then the fact that they had a trainer since the puppy was 8 weeks old, this and that. But then I noticed that there was the read more. I had already replied, so I went and I did the read more, and then I saw him state that what had happened is that the dog was like sitting there or something, and his daughter ran by. He said his kids were very rambunctious, and that his daughter ran by, grabbed the dog by the face, and kissed him on the nose. And I think it was like grabbing on his face or something, squishy face thing, right? And the thing about dogs is that the reason why the #1 bite for children is to the face is because dogs don't like being in each other's faces. It's normally like actually what you just saw right there from Blondie. It's a sign of possessiveness. It's what they do when they want to push each other around. So let's say that Cashmere was laying on the couch and Midnight wanted to lay on the couch. Then Midnight would walk over, stiff-legged, stiff-bodied, very, very direct, intense stare to try to get her to give it up. Like watch what Cashmere's doing right now. Literally, you just saw it. She was sitting there eyeballing Blondie, trying to take it from her, and that's what they do. And they want something, they stick their face in the other dog's face, and they try to intimidate them. So that's their form of communication. And if you're going to have a dog, you need to know what their communication is. You can't just expect the dog to just give up being a dog just because it's in your house. And so, you know, his daughter got bit, and that's what's going to happen when you do that kind of thing with a dog, depending upon the dog. Okay, there are some dogs that won't. If they had a golden retriever, it probably wouldn't have. Maybe it would have, but it may not have. But this particular dog has it's a male, it looks like a big, pretty dominant male, even for only 5 months old, which is probably what the guy wanted. He probably went out of his way to pick the big, tough looking puppy, and he got a big, tough puppy. And now he's upset that, you know, that big, tough puppy did what big, tough puppies do. And instead of getting on to his children for disrespecting the dog, they're getting rid of the dog. And that to me is downright wrong. I hate that kind of stuff. I absolutely hate it. The dog didn't do anything wrong. Granted, should he have bit the kid? I mean, if I would have been watching, if it had been my house and if I would have been watching, I still would have gotten onto the dog, but I wouldn't have gotten rid of it. Like the dog needs to know that biting somebody's not okay. Yes, for sure. Okay. But it's not like what he did was like out of character for a dog or even for a Cane Corso. Like, you know, it's a natural behavior that needs to be fixed. It needs to be worked with, but the child was the one in the wrong. The child is the one that needs to redirect their behavior. If there are levels of respect going both ways, the odds are that relationship, that family could have been maintained. But because the father is unwilling to adjust his kids, he just wants to get rid of the dog, and in doing so blame the dog as being very aggressive. He didn't put it in in the first part of the post, he put it afterwards. And that to me is wrong. You know, the way that I see it is if in fact you don't want to work with your kid, and you know, or maybe your kid has some kind of issue and they can't be calm or whatever it is, then you say it on the post. You say, hey, look, you know, the dog really didn't do anything wrong. My kids were in his face. They were messing with him. They kind of shocked him. He bit him in the face. you know, that's it. It is what it is. Take it for how you want. That's one thing. But to sit there and to label the dog as aggressive, to put that stigma on him when he really doesn't deserve it, to me is wrong. You know, it was just another example of a person. Cashmere? Now, you heard me. Walk it back. Cashmere, you heard what I said. Walk it back now. I'm being tough on her right now because her obedience isn't where I want it. She's not quite listening the way that I want her to. And that's why I'm being tougher on her than I would normally be. Because she's pushing some boundaries right now. And I want to make it very clear with her that I'm in no mood. So that we get over this faster than if I sit here and I try to be nice about it. Pardon me. So it's just upsetting. If I had a client that did that, it would really upset me because, you know, it's pretty common knowledge that you don't get in a dog's face. You don't stare them down. There are very, very few things that you shouldn't do with a dog. And we should know them, right? Sometimes I feel like more people know how to handle a bear attack than they know how to interact with a dog sometimes. And that's just really frustrating to me because it's the dogs that pay the price. You know what I mean? Like that puppy has been labeled as this aggressive dog, this child aggressive dog. The owner won't even let him go to a home with kids because, you know, he's afraid that the dog is going to do something. When in reality, it was his kids, man. It was his kids. I mean, hell, Preacher's growled at Savannah before when I first got him, and she would do that. I don't know what it is about kids wanting to get in dogs' faces, man, but Savannah was always in his face. And I used to get onto her hardcore, and I finally told her one day, I said, you know what, Savannah? I said, one day that dog is going to tag you. And I said, and I'm going to laugh. I said, do not think for a second that I will feel sorry for you. I said, you will get what's coming to you. You will either learn the easy way or you will learn the hard way. But you're going to learn one way or the other. And sure enough, he never bit her, but she did learn. She finally learned to quit pushing his buttons. And maybe it's just a kid thing. Maybe just kids in general. They push our buttons. They push their teachers' buttons. They're going to push boundaries. But with dogs, if you look at dog society, they're not like us. They're not this ever patient, no, don't do that. No, it's with a dog, it's quit it. And if you don't, it's bite. It's a correction. That's what it is. Because they don't have the time for all the nonsense. No, Blondie, no ma'am. Blondie, no digging in the mud. No. What did I say to you, woman? You're going to make me get up? Don't you make me get up with your nasty feet. Get out of it. Go on. Better stay out of it. Don't come up to me for affection. I don't want nothing to do with your nasty feet. Look at these feet. Just think she's going to come into my house. Now you know why I have this rubber mat here. Go on now. No. And stay out of the mud. Go on. Stay out of the mud. Get on now. So, anyway, dogs, they don't have time for all the shenanigans. You know, you learn, you get one warning, you get a correction. If they have to correct you again, they're probably going to beat your butt. That's just how dogs are. So, what did I say? Midnight? No, ma'am. The one little bit of mud you guys want to get into. No. Midnight. What did I say? What did I say? No. Telling you, they're all going through this phase right now. They're all getting a little bit older, a little bit more confident. Get out of my way. Move. You're not going to make my seat muddy. And I'm having to really kind of get onto them. So yesterday I took Midnight out to the dog park in the evening just on her own to work with her because she has a tendency to get into fights and stuff. Not that she starts fights. What I mean is she gets into them whenever there's, like in the video I did of the one that I posted earlier this morning of the dog fight, you'll see at the very end of it that Midnight actually gets involved in that fight. Now, if you re-watch that video, you will see that the dog that she targets is the dog that was shaking up the little dog. Okay, that black furry dog. he had that little dog and he was just shaking him up. And she went in and she grabbed that dog. So she went in and she tried to take care of who she thought was the aggressor. So she's trying to do the right thing. She's trying to create order, but it's not her job. She's just trying to be an alpha. And that's what alphas do, is they go in and they stop the fighting. They stop whatever's going on by interfering and taking care of the aggressor. And that's what she was trying to do. But the problem is that all it does is create more fighting. It's unnecessary for us. So that's why I step in and I get onto my dogs for doing that. But it is a behavior that has to be trained out, especially for the Corso, because they think that they're just the referees of the dog world. They always trying to get in the middle of it and handle any type of aggression or aggressive dogs or dominant dogs, things like that. So they really have to be monitored. Oop. And so anyway, good Lord. Really? Cashmere? Really? What did I say? And so anyway, so I took her out and I worked with her individually. There was an incident where something happened. I think like there was a little scuffle and she tried to run in and, tag the dog, and I stepped in and disciplined her for it. So, she's 9 months old. She's not perfect. She's going to make mistakes. They can't learn until they make a mistake. They have to do that wrong thing to have the correction. So I'm not mad at her for being silly, but on the flip side, it is something that I have to monitor, and watch and make sure that I have her, trained well. A lot of people asking me, oh, why don't you bring your whole pack? Well, you don't want my whole pack at a dog park, man. You really don't. You don't. You don't. Because, like, for example, with that pit bull that was causing problems, like, when my pack is together, they are much more confident than they are when they are apart, or even like just a couple of them, like a pair. And if they're all together, I mean, you don't understand. They would have mobbed that dog. Like I wouldn't have even been able to have gotten them all off of him. It's not even about training at that point. It's about the mentality of the animal, the basic instinct of the animal. They're pack animals. They are going to move and act as a pack when they have a pack. And that mean, and even though I'm the alpha, I mean, as you guys saw, like, it doesn't even hear when there's a scuffle. The alpha doesn't mean you're God. It doesn't mean that everyone just automatically just has this synchronized cell in their body where they just know when you want something and they stop. Cashmere still has to enforce herself as the alpha. She still has to show them. She still has to push them around and do the things that she needs to do. So being the alpha isn't some magical wand where from that point on, you now are able to control every dog you have with only the lift of a finger. It does not work that way. They're still animals. They still have instincts. They're still going to do stuff. They're still going to make mistakes. And if there's a fight and it involves one of my pack members, or if they feel the need to get into it, if one of them feels the need to get into it, then the whole pack's going to do it. And it's going to take me, running in and trying to grab them all. And it won't work. I'll be honest with you. Nobody's that good. Nobody's that good. Right? So I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I will take the dogs that I feel are necessary there that can do it. And even then, I'm only doing it for you guys, because as you saw in the video this morning, it is inevitable that there will always be some dog out there that doesn't have training, doesn't have a good owner, and is going to be out there causing problems. And if you've ever seen dogs fight, real fight, then you know that there's high risk there. And you can lose a dog. Make no mistake, dogs die at the dog park all the time. So it is a calculated risk that I take, and if I'm going to take it, I'm only going to take it with dogs that I know I can handle. So I'm going to ask that everyone just kind of try to respect that. But anyway, that's enough of a rant this morning. I'm going to let y'all go. These dogs are out here running around, having fun, being dogs. So just wanted to kind of gripe a little bit about that guy and just remind people, like, dogs are not slaves. They deserve respect, and teach your kids to respect dogs. If you want your dog to treat your kid right and protect them, then teach your kid to respect the dog. Okay? Talk to y'all later. Bye.